Hey everyone, I'm Will Dorsey Jr. on Talk Music Podcast. Today on my show, I have a special guest that I played drums for. Man, awesome guitar player to play with. Um, been inspiring just to even be in a legend band like his band. He's a great guitar player, producer, and a Grammy winner. Everybody welcome Ernie C of Body Count.
Welcome to Talk Music with Will Dorsey Jr.
Every month,
Our host Will is going to interview musicians from around the world and talk everything music. Our listeners range from professionals to recreational musicians who want to learn more about the industry, their instruments, and the community of top musicians. So join us, subscribe, and keep up with Talk Music.
visit us on www.talkmusicpodcast.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Download our podcast on Apple, Google, Amazon, and Spotify.
Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, eRecordStudio, the new way musicians rehearse, record, and share their eRecord sessions on social media. Visit ERS on eRecordStudio.com. Download this amazing app on Google and Apple Apps stores.
Ladies and gentlemen, Grammy Award winning Ernie C from Body Count.
Thank you so much, Will. How you doing, nigga? Hey, yay,
Yeah.
yay. And the crowd goes wild.
Right.
And the crowd goes wild.
Ernie. Yeah. Man, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. It's a pleasure to be here. You know, you've been asking me to do this for a while, so
Yeah.
it's time. We both got some time. Let's do this, you know?
Yeah, man. Can you so jumping in, can you let people know how we actually first met?
Okay, so we were auditioning drummers because our last drummer, it was time to move on. So I have 7 different variations of this band, right?
Right.
The original band that I had in 1990, the original band, that band worked. Ever since then, we have 7 different variations of it. The only ones that work is the first band and the band we have now, the combination of people we had now. All the other variations of it was just trying to find the right chemistry. Sometimes you have a band that doesn't, I'll speak myself. I'm not the greatest musician, but we have the great chemistry together. You know what I mean? So that's what makes Body Count work. Yeah. So I met you when we were auditioning. Vince says, I've gone through auditioning after my original drummer Vic passed. We went through auditioning, and it's a pain in the ass because you just hear people play, and it's like they can play the stuff, but then they have bad attitudes and egos and all those kind of things that we don't deal with. So Vince came to me. I know Vince a long time. He's our bass player. And he came to me and said, I got this dude. I said, anyone Vince gets along with, I should be able to get along with him. Right. Because, if you get along with Vince, that's something.
Oh,
so
right.
He liked you a whole lot. So I said, okay, you came in and you played the stuff. I'm like, we don't need to look anymore. You know what I mean? He was a good dude. He was humble. It didn't seem like he was trying to run the show. So you came in, you played everything right. That's all we need,
Right.
And your personality made it easy.
Oh, man.
That's how we met.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. I was, like the first time when I met you, I was actually nervous when I first met you because you're legendary Ernie C, man. You know what I mean? So
it's good. Nervous is a good thing to be. You know what I mean? Because nerves keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
Keeps you sharp. You know what I mean? If you too, that's like some of the drummers we auditioned were too jaded. There's one guy. Here's the funniest story. This one guy came in. He came in and he came in audition. This is when we auditioned because when we auditioned you're the only person that auditioned. There was nobody else.
Oh wow.
But when we were auditioning after Vic, there was like a bunch of people that wanted to Vic passed of leukemia. Mm-hmm. So we were auditioning after that. So this one guy comes in, he was badass. He played everything, but bad as you can, So he says to me after he finished, he put down the stick and says, "Do I have the job?" I was like, "Yeah, we got the job." So he said, "I got a few problems." I'm like, "Really?" He says, I said, "Anything can be handled." He says, "Well, I have a warrant, a failure to appear warrant on a drug charge." I'm like, "Okay, we can handle that." Right. So we hired a lawyer, Steve Cohen, this lawyer. So we were going to go to court. He was going to his bail. He had an $18,000 warrant out for him, right? Mm. So we walked him in court. So I asked Ice. I said, "You want to go?" He said, "I'm not going nowhere near court." So I called a friend of mine named Oscar Wright. I've known Oscar since I was like 13 years old. He's like 10 years older than me. But Oscar is back in the hood. Oscar was always a mover and a shaker. But he ran an organization called Operation Push. All right. Pace. It was hooked up with Jesse Jackson's organization. But so I called up Oscar. Oscar at this time, Oscar was working the head of HUD in the state of California, working under the governor. You know what I mean? So I called up Oscar. I said, "Oscar, I got this drummer. I need to go into court. I need something about my character." So Oscar wrote me a nice letter to bring to court, to say I'm vouching for this drummer. So Oscar sent the letter to me, and it had he had a government stationery and had an embossed press seal on it. They have a thing that embosses it, so it's a government seal. It raises the paper up. Yeah. So I gave it to the lawyer, and the lawyer said, "Wow, this and that." So we went into court. So we walk into court, and the judge says, "Scotty, you violated every law. I should throw you in jail right now for a couple of years just by you showing your face here. You didn't go to your drug case and this and that, and you've been out on the run for a year." And then he says to me, "I read Mr. Cunningham right here is going to vouch for you. Mr. Cunningham has a letter from Oscar Wright." Well, I know Oscar Wright. I know Oscar Wright is a fine individual. I've known him for 30 years. He says, "If Oscar Wright is going to vouch for this man right here, and this man is going to vouch for you, you can go. Good luck." So we walked out of there. He walked out of there. I gave him $200. Haven't heard from him since.
Wow.
That's what his story is. Wow. He went out he went out and started doing drugs that day. And I haven't heard from him to this day. His grandmother called me and says, "Can you give that boy one more chance? Those drugs just got." I said, "I can't do this.
Right.
I can't do it." But anyway,
wow.
That's a long way to go.
Okay.
So that's my audition story. Anyway.
No, that was good. That was good.
We ended up getting OT at that time, and D-Rock used to always say, "That's your corporate drummer," because he was real corporate about everything. He ended up being a lawyer now. He's a lawyer now, so good for him.
Yeah, he was the second drummer, right?
He was the second drummer. I always say, and with this band, every person, we've lost some members. Every person is one away from the original member.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when Moose passed, we got Doug. You know what I mean? Right. And I always said, you can't replace Doug. You can't replace Moose, but you can replace Doug.
Right.
So I replaced him. And when D-Rock died, we got Bendrix. I said, you can't replace D-Rock, but you can replace Bendrix.
Bendrix, yes. Yeah.
and then you're like, I can't replace Vic, but I can replace OT.
OT,
So that's
yeah.
that's why the band works now. I didn't replace those members. I replaced the other members.
Hey, man, number 3 is my lucky number, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm
like
happy to be
like
number 3. So
like I said, the first band worked and this band worked.
right.
The 5 in the middle didn't work. Okay. Anyway.
Sorry, guys, if you ever watch this video or whatever, you know, but let me go back real quick at how I met you, telling you that I was nervous to meet you because I seen you, you know, doing, you know, like, you know, of course, the first, you know, Lollapalooza. That's when I first saw you guys. And then I saw you guys up on a City Hall show. And that's when, you know, like for me, that's when I got nervous because I kept on thinking about those 2 events, you know, so like there goes the neighborhood, especially on the City Hall, man, you know, like you guys killed it, but it's, yeah.
That was interesting. Yeah, that was interesting. You know, well, I've been, you know, the person that always gets me nervous to be around is Ernie C. Now I've been around him since I was 13 or 14 years old, and every time I get around him, I feel like I'm 14 years old. I get really nervous. I get really nervous, which is a good nervous. You know what I mean? A good fun nervous.
Wow. Can you tell people about a little bit about your background, like what made you get started playing guitar in the first place?
Well, what made me get started? I ended up out here in the early 70s, and from a lack of things to do, I picked up a guitar. I mean, the neighborhood, you know, I could have joined the neighborhood gang,
right?
But I decided to just play guitar. So I you know, used to spend the summers playing guitar, and you know, I just something that made me click with that instrument, and I started listening to, you know, pop radio, you know, AM radio, you know, R&B radio. And then a guy down the street came to me and says, "Hey, you sound like Jimmy Page." I'm like, "Who?" He says, "Jimmy Page." So he went and got me a bunch of Led Zeppelin tapes and Deep Purple and Rush, and he gave it all to me. And I was like, "This stuff is cool," you know. And then I used to listen to Hendrix, but that's just from being left-handed. Everyone used to always say, "Oh, you play Hendrix." I'm like, Hendrix was not really my guitar player. You know, my guitar player is more like Richie Blackmore or Jimmy Page, or, you know, even later on Eddie Van Halen. You know, he's more my guitar player.
Right. Wow. Man. Okay. Do you have anything, you know, like going with those guitar players like that? Was there anything else like you went into the rock mode? Did you go into the R&B mode as well, or?
Oh yeah, I went into R&B. You know, my growing up at the school I went to, there was a lot of R&B. I mean, around the corner was this club called what's the Total Experience, and a friend of mine, you know, they were a house band there, but I used to go there and jam sometimes. So I jammed with everyone from the Gap Band down to Donny Hathaway to you know, just the Dramatics. I mean, a lot of people might not even know who these people are, but these are the foundation. Michael Henderson, who played for Miles Davis. You know what I mean? Bass player. Play with all these people. That was just my learning. You know, just watching these people play. You know, like who else was there at the Dramatics? Dennis Edwards, the Temptations. Just, you know, just R&B.
Right.
And then we got into some Parliament Funkadelics, but that really wasn't my thing. Funk really wasn't my thing, even though we went to a high school, which is dubbed the Funk High School, because the Brothers Johnson went there.
Oh, man.
The Brothers Johnson plus one, you know?
Right,
because the Brothers Johnson, it was called Brothers Johnson plus one because they had a cousin that played guitar with them named Alex Weir. He played with them, you know. He was the Brothers Johnson plus one. And then Quincy came along and took them away, you know. And then he came out with, you know, Brothers Johnson.
Man, that's interesting. I thought you were like influenced with the Isley Brothers.
You know, the Isley Brothers. You know, when I was a young kid, you know, when I was like 13, 14 years old, I started listening to Isley Brothers when I was 12. That was the first group I was influenced by. So then when I was around 14, 15 years old, I called up everyone on that album, on the back of the album. You know, he had albums. I read the liner notes, and I called up everyone on there. So then I called up everyone. So I called up this guy that I got named Robert Magnikoff. Robert Magnikoff is like, he's a producer. He produced the Isley Brothers, Stevie Wonder, Talking Book, all those records. He had a partner named Malcolm Sissel. Malcolm Sissel was friends with Roger Moog. They invented the synthesizers. So that's why the Isley Brothers always had that ARC synthesizer in the beginning of it and stuff like that. But anyway, so I called up Roger. I got him on the phone. You know, I called him up. I called the studio. He was there. I said, hey, my name is Ernest Cunningham. I'm ready to get produced. He's like, you're ready to get produced. How old are you? I'm like 14. He says, well, and then he said, when your parents get home, have them bring me into the studio. So I lived in South Central. So my father took me to his studio up in Burbank. So he took me on a tour and this and that and this and that. And he says, good luck to you, right? So I went on my way. But he also told me where the Isley Brothers were staying. So I called the hotel, the Continental Hyatt, up on Sunset Boulevard, which is now some other hotel, but that's the hotel that the Led Zeppelin had their parties at and threw TVs out the hotel. Right. But anyway, so real quick, so fast forward to my 50th birthday 15 years ago, a friend of mine is playing at this up on Hollywood Boulevard. He says to me, he says, Robert Magnikoff is in the audience out there. I'm like, Robert's like 80 something now. You know what I mean? Right. So I go over to him. I said, hey, Robert, how you doing? You don't know, because I haven't seen Robert since I was 14 years old. Oh, wow. He took my dad on the tour of the studio, me and my dad. Right. I said, my name is Ernest Cunningham. You took me and my father on a tour of the studio. He says, what have you been up to? I said, he said, what have you been up to the last 40 years? I said, well, I graduated high school. I said, what are you saying? You know? And then I said, I'm in the music business. He said, oh, that's good for you. Right. Like, you know, I couldn't just go to, you know, the reason why I didn't go through the whole thing. He's like, he was just so calm about it. Like, I thought it was a big deal. He's like, oh yeah, that's good. That's nice. Right. You know, good. You know. So anyway, I saw him. Yeah, it came full circle. That's why I thought everything came full circle. You know. Right. Right. Oh wow, man. So after you started getting into these guitar players, right? And I mean, did you like at that time around 14? Were you playing in any bands at all? Like, oh, we had a band. We had a neighborhood band, Ernie and the Super Band.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I played the part of Ernie.
Oh, right. I hope so.
But yeah, we had then we changed the name of the band to just Super Band, the Super Band. But we used to play at a club down here, actually where the new dome is, where they built that dome down there, where the Clippers are going to play.
Yeah, yeah.
The interior dome, whatever it's called.
Right. Yeah.
Where the Clippers are going to play down. Yeah. Where the Clippers are going to play. There used to be a club right there called Imperial West. It was owned by Lou Rawls' mother. You know Lou Rawls? Yeah. His mother owned the club. So we used to go there and play every Saturday night, every Sunday night. We used to go there for a talent show. Wow. And, but Lou used to come. You boys are going to be something. You know his voice. Yeah, you boys are going to be good. You know. Yeah, and Lou was there, and then we used to play a lot of shows down. We had this manager named Poncho. We used to play down at 114th and Central. We used to play the Chitlin circuit. You know what I mean? Right. The circuit that we would play for hamburgers. You know what I mean? Oh wow. That's paying your dues, you know. Right. That's paying your dues.
What were you playing then? Like, what kind of music were you playing then?
Oh, we're playing top 40s, Marvin Gaye songs. Yeah. We played Let's Get It On, Jungle Boogie. You know, top 40, like radio top 40. Yeah. What else? Sly and the Family Stones, If You Want Me to Stay. Want to Go Out, Dramatics. You know, yeah, we played the radio top 40.
Man, that's awesome.
And then we used to be part of this thing called Sugar Ray Robinson's Youth Foundation. Used to go out there and play shows for him. You know, Sugar Ray used to come to our rehearsals.
Really?
If you know who he is. Yes, yeah. Sugar Ray Robinson. Not the original Sugar Ray Robinson, not Sugar Ray Leonard.
Oh, right, yeah.
the original Sugar Ray Robinson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Nice, man. So that was all during like high school and whatnot. Now
that's high school. Yeah, that's high school. Yeah. Junior high school and high school.
Okay. So when did you get in with Ice?
Well, I've known Ice since high school. Ice, you know, when we were in high school, Ice was a dancer. Ice was a break dancer. I used to back him up when he used to break dance. Right. You know, him and Al and everyone, they used to break dance. And so I was a musician then. And then he went off to the Army, and I still kept on playing. Right. And then when he came back, he was like, you know, he was going to do some rap stuff. And we're like, you know, we don't know what this stuff is. It's brand new. So then he went off and did some other stuff. And then he came back, and we started doing movies about rap. We did Electric Boogaloo, and, you know, rapping and all these rap movies, you know. So I was like, I've been at the forefront of rap, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's interesting.
Man, that was the most interesting thing, you know, that, you know, like seeing you up on that movie, because I watched that movie, you know. Was there any other movies that you guys were on?
We did one called Rapping with Mario Van Peebles, and the Force MDs are in that movie.
Oh.
Yeah, the Force MDs.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what's so funny about that movie is that taught me about being humble. Okay, so well the first one, Electric Boogaloo, it was like the films over here near downtown, and everybody was during the day was like, you know, can I get you anything and this and that. And at night, I was a janitor cleaning up, you know, working for my father-in-law, cleaning up toilets. So I was like, you're gonna be humble.
Right.
And then we did that. Then Ice called me and says, we got this movie we're gonna do. It's in Pittsburgh. We're like, Pittsburgh, okay, word, let's go. It's like I'm like, I got no money. He said, don't worry about it, they'll give you some money. So they flew us there from LA straight to Pittsburgh. You know, we got off the plane, they gave us per diem, picked us up in a van, took us to the hotel, this and that. So, you know, it took a day or so. We got to do our part. And as soon as they said cut, when it was over, they're like, we're like, we need the van to get to the airport. Oh, you're on your own. Get to the airport yourself. The plane back stopped, went from Pittsburgh to Detroit to St. Louis to Phoenix, and Phoenix to home. So it made you realize that when they're done with you, they're done with you. Right. You're on your own. They did us there. They flew us there nonstop. On the way back, right, we made like 4 stops.
Wow, man. Wow. So after all the movies and whatnot, when did you form like the body count that is when you first came out with Body Count? But wasn't it something before that?
No, what we're doing before that was Ice was doing what's the name of this movie? New Jack City. He was going to be in New York. Yeah. So he says, Ernie, get your stuff together. So I was auditioning people I was doing a separate band. And so we were auditioning singers and this and that. It was me, Vic, and Moose. That was the band. Right. Just me, Vic, and Moose. And we were auditioning people. Then we auditioned people, singers. They came out with puff sleeve shirts on, and you know, like spandex. And it was crazy. So I was like, hey, why don't you just sing? So when we first started, the first gigs that we did at this thing, I sang a lot of the stuff, and then he would just sing a couple of songs. And I was like, I'm really not digging this singing thing because I want to really play guitar and do my thing, you know?
Yeah.
So he started singing more and more, and the band started getting more, you know, more interest. And then we're like, okay, let's do this. And that's how Body Count came. It was just totally, you know, wasn't supposed to be what it was supposed to be. It just it just happened by accident. You know, we were going to have another singer, or I was going to sing, and Ice was just standing on stage with her to get attention. And then he started singing and liked it, and he was good at it. Right. More importantly, he was good at it. So that's when we decided, you know, let's do this.
Wow. That's pretty awesome. Was there ever like a time like you ever thought about like when you guys were actually playing and like body counts around, right? Did you ever in that time, like in the early 90s, ever think about like giving up or anything like that after you guys made it or anything?
No, because body count was initially a bunch of friends. So
Right.
are you going to stop being friends with people? You know what I mean? That's a hard breakup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because it'd be like, well, I'm going to start another band. It's going to be same stuff with just different people that I get along with better. No, we got along. You know what I mean? We got along. Everyone got along until we didn't get along.
Right.
But for the most part, we got along.
Right.
It was simpler. I always told people, just leave the stuff in the room. You know, we can argue all we want, but just leave it in the room. You know.
Right. Wow. Did you ever feel like, like when Body Count was first coming out, like what was your experience when you first came out, like to Lollapalooza, first coming out to that?
Well, what happened with that is, it was a rocket ride, because we only did 10 gigs before we were on Lollapalooza. That was it. We did 10 gigs. We did 10 gigs in the city. And then we were on Lollapalooza. We played at, the biggest gig we did was like Coconut Teaser. And then we were playing, in front of people at Lollapalooza. I mean, we got on Lollapalooza as a fluke. I mean, what happened was I used to be a messenger that used to deliver packages. And I was delivering packages one day, and I saw Perry Farrell at this management company, and I heard him talking, and he says he was filming, doing a track. There's a track by Sly Stone called Nigga Whitey. Don't call me Nigga Whitey. Don't call me Whitey Nigga. It's a song. I mean, it's from the 60s. It's politically incorrect now, but it's what it was. Sly wrote the song. And I said to him, the messenger says, I know Sly Stone. I can get him for your video. And they're like, who are you? I'm like, I'm the messenger, but I have a friend who lives with Sly Stone, and I go there all the time. So Sly we were gonna do this video, and so we went over to Mates. 2 weeks later we're at Mates, and I asked Sly, he's like, I'm gonna be at the video. So the day we were gonna record this, I'm sitting at Mates waiting for Sly to get there. I'm like, where is he at? So I called up. They're like, Sly is gone to rehab. I'm like, what?
Oh.
So I'm sitting there with all these managers and camera crews and everything else. I said, oh, Sly's not feeling good today. I said, do you guys notice Ice-T? They're like, Ice-T, we love him. I said, I can get him. So I called up Ice. I said, what are you doing today? He said, I'm recording with Quincy Jones. I'm like, can you get over here to Mates? He says, I'll be there as soon as I'm finished. Yeah. So he left there, he rolled into Mates. They were getting ready to film this video. They were doing a video for the song. It was for Perry's wife's movie called The Gift. Right. So Perry said to me, he says, Ernie, you got a guitar? I'm like, I got one in the car. He said, go get it. I hopped in the video with him.
Oh, man.
So I hopped in the video. So then when it got time for him to do Lollapalooza, he's like, I owe them one. And he put us on Lollapalooza. He put Ice on, and in turn, Ice put Body Count on for 15 minutes of his set.
Man. Oh, man.
And that kind of, set the tone for Body Count, because the simple fact that we only played for 15 minutes. We only knew 25 minutes worth of songs. So we only had like 4 or 5 songs, Right. So it was perfect. We jammed the hell out of those songs,
Wow.
If we would have had to play for an hour, we probably would have lost people's attention. We had enough energy for 15, 20 minutes to make people interested. So when we came out with a record, people were like, wow,
Man, how was that recording process, for recording the first Body Count record?
Well, the first Body Count record, like I always say, we wanted to get Bob Rock to do it,
Yeah.
But Bob Rock was charging more than our whole budget. I mean, just for him. Now he's in the studio. We're like, okay, well, that's not going to happen. So what we did, I said, we're going to go to where Bob Rock recorded that Metallica album at.
Yeah.
One-on-one recording studio. We went to the same recording studio. We hired the same second engineer.
Oh.
Because he knew all the tricks that Bob did.
Right.
So we hired ErnieCBodyCount. That was his name. ErnieCBodyCount. We hired him. And then I had an engineer named Bernie, and he was our first engineer. ErnieC was the second engineer, but he knew all of Bob's tricks. They said, Bob did this. I'm like, we need to do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So we did that. And so that's how that happened.
I did not know that you guys recorded at the same studio that Metallica did.
Recorded 101 right over there next to what's the name of the studio over there? Rehearsal studio. We rehearsed there before. Right there on Lancashire, right across.
You talk about Amp Rehearsal?
Amp, yes. The 101 recording is right next to Amp. It's right next to Amp.
Gotcha.
And what's so funny, what's so strange about that, that's when they were building the subway. And so when Ice was in there, we have his cans on, he'll be doing his vocals. You could hear that big machine grinding under the ground. And so they were like, okay, we can't record today. So they would give us extra days when that machine would shut off.
Yeah.
When it wasn't recording, when you couldn't hear it in the cans.
Wow, man. So what was the recording process like? I mean, like, did you guys do drum first, or did Vic first?
Basically, back then we all played live. The band was basically live, and you put all the amps insulated out. The bass goes in a trap, and we just go play live. I mean, that's the way you did things like this, which I kind of like. It has a feel for it that's good. It's not so technically correct, Yeah. Because on my first record, some of the beats go faster and slower. That's the way people are. People play faster and slower,
Yeah.
So it's good. It's good. People don't always keep to a metronome.
Right. The second album, was that Born Dead?
Born Dead.
Yeah.
That was interesting because we left Warner Brothers. That was our first record on Virgin.
Okay.
And so that record, I mean, it was a good record, but it was so people were expecting us to come up with a cop killer on that record, and it was kind of a different record. It was more of a worldly record. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The band grew up. The band grew out of South Central.
And I was about to ask that, did they try to make you guys make, try to make another, cop killer song, or?
Well, they didn't know what they wanted. They just wanted us, but they signed us because we were so hot, and it could get that record label was starting off. Brad was starting that record label, and he signed us, the Rolling Stones, and Janet Jackson. At the same time.
Okay.
But those groups aren't going to sell a lot of records really, but it attracts other artists to the record label.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what that was. The Rolling Stones are, people respect it because the Rolling Stones are on Virgin, so it made the record label viable.
Right. Wow.
Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, eRecordStudio, the new way musicians rehearse, record, and share their eRecord sessions on social media. Visit ERS on eRecordStudio.com. Download this amazing app on Google and Apple Apps stores.
Did anybody help you guys get into this business? The recording business. Who helped you guys? Get in.
No, well, what do you mean by get in? Well, just when we first started, the people that were down with us were, Duff and, McKagan helped us out, and Duff helped us out, I just mean Duff put us on a show. He put us on a couple of their stadium shows. And
right.
Dave Mustaine always gave us good words. A lot of the rock bands. It was the thing about we were being accepted by the rock community. So that was good for us, being from where we were from. It was good to get that acceptance, And then we still playing with the rock bands, that we respect, like Slayer and Korn and all these other bands.
Right. Sorry, I keep on going back to the first record. Because man, because that that was that hit me.
Right.
I was going to ask, where did you come up with the riff for There Goes the Neighborhood?
Well, me and I we sat in my apartment one time, and he came. It was it's a Sabbath riff. It's a Black Sabbath riff, basically.
Okay, all right.
It's not really Sabbath, but it has a feel of Sabbath. The ominous big notes. So he came up with the idea, the notes, and then I had those other little fancy little guitar things I put in it. It was like when we write together, it makes my guitar playing digestible. Sometimes when you get a guitar player writing songs, it might just be a riff, but you have someone who's not a musician, that kind of musician, they make it understandable for the layman or the non-musical people.
Right. Yeah. Wow. I can tell you one of my favorites off that record. I think it was on that record. The Winners Lose.
Oh, The Winners Lose. That's about our friend Michael Bivens. Yeah.
Right.
That's Michael Bivens. Actually, I did that on a demo. When I sang it at first before we re-recorded it. I had a demo of that. Yeah, I had a demo of that.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was the singer on that. But I like the guitar solo on that. That's like a long guitar solo. I kind of like that one.
Did you use the 12 string on that?
No, I used a 12 string on that record though, but not on that song. But that song had a lot of harmonizers in it.
All right. Okay.
It had a thing called a Puba-san, which is like a H3000 Eventide harmonizer. So it's almost the same thing.
Wow. Man, what was your favorite songs on that record?
I think Mama's Gotta Die. I just like the beginning of Mama's Gotta Die.
Yeah.
I like the way it grew. I like the way it grew because he's playing, the bass is going behind the beat. It's not really on the beat. It's kind of lazy behind the beat.
Yeah.
So that I kind of like the way that grooves. I really like the way that moves,
man, rest in peace to Vic, man, because me coming into this band and trying to emulate, and I know it doesn't matter, what drummer comes in or whatever, the groove that's on There Goes the Neighborhood, Mama's Gotta Die, it doesn't matter on Cop Killer. It doesn't matter. I tried to emulate that, but I won't get that,
because it doesn't have a click to it. It varies in speed. Now, it's funny that you say that. Someone sent me a picture today of Vic with Mr. T.
What?
With Mr. T, yeah, him
really?
And Mr. T together. Yeah, somebody sent me this picture. I'll send it to you later.
Okay,
but
all right, cool. Very cool.
It's so funny because Mr. T did a song called Mr. T's Commandments, right?
Right.
Ice taught him how to rap on that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What?
Ice taught Mr. T how to rap on Mr. T's Commandment. Go to school, eat your vegetables. Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't know Ice had anything to do with him.
Listen to your mama, boy. Listen to your mama. Mr. T's Commandments. Yeah.
Wow, man. Moving forward. Oh, dude, that's the one thing I love about our band. I mean, we love to laugh.
Yeah, and that's the key to life. That's the key to life. You don't want to be grumpy and mad all the time. You got to do that later on.
Yeah. No, that's what I love about it. Because man, I just it's laughing is like my key thing. because like you guys are just funny, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I can't help it, you know. What is I already know, but people don't know.
But
What's next for Body Count? What's
I
coming
don't know.
up?
You tell me.
Man, come on,
I
man.
just go with no, actually, with Body Count, I mean, when I was younger, when I did this band, I was worried about every detail and this and that. I used to go to the, you know, when the people at the show, this and that, what's next. Now it's just like I just wait and see, you know, just go with the flow. You know,
Yeah.
it's because just because I stressed out early in my life from worrying too much. Now I don't worry about it. I think we're gonna do a video soon.
Yep.
You know, we're gonna play some more shows. Hopefully we'll play next year. We probably will, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, just play it by ear. Just enjoy the ride, you know.
Yeah.
Just show up where the flyer says.
Right.
You know. Because I took years off. You know, I took years off just because it was so stressful. And
right.
You know.
Yeah. Man. Yeah. You don't want to be stressed, you know?
Yeah.
Not at all. What's your one of your well, name a few songs that you love playing. What's your favorite to play now?
I don't know. You know, it's interesting. You know, the new songs. It's a whole new. You know, we started using in-ears for the people that don't know. When you play with in-ears in, you're not listening to the band. You're listening to a loud click in your head. Yeah. So right now, I'm on just trying to stay on beat. You know what I mean? Just trying to listen to that. I always like whatever song we start off with. I like playing that song because that's the first song. That's
Body
all
Count's
the
in the house.
Yeah, whatever it is, you know, we've had 5 or 6 different start off songs.
Yeah.
I always like the first song, whatever we decide on. That's always good. And then I always like playing Cop Killer because that means that we've reached the end of the journey.
Right.
So everything in the beginning, in the middle, I can interchange any song. There's some songs I miss playing. There's some songs I like to play. Yeah. But you know, I just say, well, we play it, it's fine if we don't. But those 2 songs, the beginning song, whatever it is, and Cop Killer, that's always, you know, good. You know.
Yeah.
A good part of the show. Yeah.
It is.
And then sometimes I like doing guitar solos. Sometimes I don't. You know, next year I might do a guitar solo. You know. Good. It's not etched in stone the way we do things. It's the way you feel.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. You know, especially when I have a problem of drums up there or something like that, you have to come in and rescue me. It's like you know, it's not like you're obligated to play a solo. You know, sometimes you might not. You know. You might not want to. So when you want to, it's good. When you don't, it's fine. You know. Yeah, I do know. So let me ask you this because I always been curious about it. Where at the end of our last song of Cop Killer, you do this signature move with your guitar.
Right.
Where did that come from?
I just did it. I used to balance broomsticks, and so I said, just balance. You know, when you got nothing to do, you just balance a broomstick or something like that. So, I mean, not that that's something people normally do, but I just figured I could do it. But then I did it with the guitar, and so then I did it one time with the guitar, and this guy came up to me after the show and said, "Man, you're badass. You balance the guitar." I'm like, he was more impressed with me balancing the guitar than me playing all these notes.
Oh, wow.
You know, but that's a Hendrix thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's a Hendrix thing. You know, he's badass. He played with his teeth. What about Purple Haze? What about the rest of the song?
Right. Yeah. Oh, you know, man.
The flash is always good. You know,
right.
A little flash. Oh. So, like one thing about Van Halen. Van Halen played notes. He didn't do a lot of flash.
Right.
You know, when you saw Eddie play, it's like, oh shit, he's playing some guitar.
Right.
He wasn't balancing the guitar. He wasn't doing backflips. You know, He's just playing.
Yeah, he just played. Right. Can you, I noticed like during the show, because it's, it's a lot to pay attention to, when I'm playing up there. But sometimes I see you in this V shape play guitar. And I don't know how you're doing it. Like you're balancing yourself doing that. Are you playing a solo during that, or is it just like I think I see you doing it during Bows of the Devil or something like that. Is it on that song?
I don't know. It's just whenever it feels right. Whenever it's good to stretch. You can still move your body. It's always good. A lot of things I don't do anymore. I don't stage dive anymore. Just certain things you stop doing at a certain age.
Yeah. You let Little Ice do it.
Let him do it. He's complaining, so he'll stop it in a few years. As you get banged up enough, you're like, why am I doing this? Why am I getting banged up?
Yeah, he'll learn later.
One time I did that stage though, and this guy grabbed me and started choking me. I'm like, what the heck? He started choking me. He had got me around the neck and started choking me. And I was like, oh, this is not fun. So then the audience grabbed him and started beating him down.
Yeah.
Then I made my way back on stage. I was like, okay, I'm not going to be doing this too much more in my life,
Right. Wow. I just had something to talk about when Body Count came back in 2014.
That's what year it was? That's what year it was? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You writing the riff for Get Shot. We did that. What? Where we write that song? Was that in where was it?
Vegas?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was in Vegas. Yeah.
That was fun. That was fun staying in a house in Vegas.
Yeah,
like old school.
Yeah, especially playing together like that.
No substitute for it.
Yeah, no, it was good. That's before we got in Juan.
Right? Was it?
Yeah, Juan wasn't there. It was just the four of us. It was just.
Wow.
It was just Ice and and Vince and you and I. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Like the original. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Juan came in at that show that we did down in Texas or somewhere down south.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Austin, we did a show in Austin. Yeah, it's all one big blur.
Right. Yeah. Do you remember doing the video for Get Shot?
We did that in New York, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that video.
Yeah. Do you remember what happened to that? I think he was a comedian.
No.
Did you see him?
What happened?
They tied him up in
oh yeah, tied him up. They tied him up in a chair, put him in the pit.
Yeah, put him in the middle of the floor. I'm sorry that people did not get to see that. Really, I think they had closest of him, but didn't see like the whole thing outside. Like there was a pit going around this dude. But he was actually scared.
Right. Yeah, he didn't know what was going on. He never saw nothing like that. We also have Bimbada in that video. African Bimbada is in there.
Oh yeah,
man.
Yeah. I mean, geez, man. Yeah. But to me, it was this. I thought that one of the best scenes that are on that is when you just pass by those two people, you just turned around. And, wow.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, everybody did their scenes, did the walking scenes.
Right, yeah. No, that was
good. That was a good video. That was a good video.
It was. And like with the blood plaques and stuff like that, and like you guys like in the van.
And then the cops pulled up at the end of the video. So that the scene that wasn't planned.
It was not planned. Man, that was crazy though, you know.
Sometimes things just work out right. Sometimes things just work out.
Oh man. Oh man. I had Pete Parada in my mind.
Uh-huh.
Weren't you in the band with him?
Yeah, we had a band that me, him, and Vince had. You know, with this guy named Greco. It was a techno band. It was a really good band. We were like, we thought, you know, we were a really good band, but then I don't know, when we started doing Body Count again, it got sidetracked. But it was a lot of fun. I like Pete a lot. Pete used to work at our rehearsal spot, you know.
Yeah.
He's grown. I always say my kids are all grown up now, you know, because
Right.
I always consider him my kid. I met him when he was so young, you know.
Right. Yeah. Was there
now he has kids that are grown.
Yeah. No, they're getting big, man.
Yeah.
I'm
you know.
Yeah. My kids are getting big too. You know, but and older and whatnot. I know you already know that, you know, but everybody, Ernie came to my wedding and his lady, you know, saved the day for us. Thank you, Lori. But
that was interesting. I think somebody at your wedding got the COVID, huh?
Yeah, it seemed like everybody got COVID after that.
yeah, everybody got COVID. I think I had COVID when we were out there on this last tour.
Oh, really?
I think so. Yeah.
Really? Oh man, man.
I don't know. I had a mild cold. I tested positive, and I tested negative, so I don't know. You know, those tests are like,
yeah.
You know, you could be up and I didn't feel bad. Lori felt bad. She felt bad.
Oh, did she? Oh man.
Yeah. It was only a couple of days.
Right. Wow. Man, that sucks. So how'd you feel about the last tour? What'd you think about it?
I thought it was the most fun I've had, you know?
Yeah.
It was easier. It was a lot, you know, yours was easier because you had a tech this time around. So it's a lot easier. Now you know what I'd be doing. It's nothing. just show up and complain. Show up and complain.
Right.
Find something to complain about, you know?
Oh.
It was a lot of fun. I'd do that again, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I thought that.
I had the kids out there. That was a lot of fun, you know?
Yeah.
Tisha coming out there for her first time, you know?
Oh man. Yeah, that was the party, you know, to me, you know, like, you know, having all of them up there, you know what I mean? That was
the enjoyment, yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. I was gonna also, you know, you weren't in any other bands besides that, right? Besides with Pete?
No, not really. I dabbled, and then, you know, but you know, Body Count is my band. I mean, what would I start another band to do? It'd be the same thing, you know. Unless I'm gonna be Santana or something like that, you know. It's like it's. I mean, I have no desire to do, you know, do anything else really. You know, this is enough. You know, I have a lot of fun doing it. I get to hang out. I get to do whatever I want to. I get to have people around me that I like, that don't complain, that don't bitch. I mean, what else would I want to do? I'm gonna start this band with a bunch of people with a bunch of egos that are going, you know.
I'm glad of that.
You know,
I'm glad that's not happening.
You know, it's one thing in AA is the thing is keep it simple. So I just try to keep it as simple as possible. And this is simple. This is very simple. You know?
Yeah.
A couple of hiccups here and there, but they are nothing major, you know.
No.
Nothing major.
No. What was your favorite city to play at?
You know, all these cities are basically alike.
Yeah.
Fountains, shopping, you know.
Right.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I didn't like.
Right.
Up there, Finland had the worst food ever. I mean, you know. Yeah, it was like, you know, but I'd go back, you know.
Yeah, I would go back.
It was kind of rough there. It was cold.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. You know, that it was that chilly.
Yeah,
like,
it was
like
cold.
that.
Yeah, but that's. I mean, it's Finland. I mean, you're as close as you're going to get to the North Pole.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Didn't think about that at all.
But it was an interesting crowd. Interesting people.
Right. I just don't remember, being so cold the last time we played out that way.
Well, I probably because we went later in the summer, and then it's getting a little colder in general.
Right. Yeah.
The heat, the places that are hot are getting hotter, and the places that are cold are getting colder. So.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Can you tell? I'm gonna do a drum roll here.
Okay. Go ahead.
When did you start producing?
Oh, when somebody said you can produce, I produced the first Body Count record.
Oh, you did? I thought
Yeah.
Was it Bobby? No.
No.
You did that?
Bobby. Yeah, I produced his first record, second record. Yeah, Bobby didn't work on the first record. Bobby worked on the second record.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Bobby wanted to charge too much also.
Man.
So,
well, the first time I met that dude, he said that he did the first one too.
no, he didn't do the first. He did the second. No, not at all.
Okay.
Bernard Edwards. I think Bernard did it first.
All right.
Yeah. Bernie Edwards, I believe his name. Yeah,
Right.
He did the first record.
Okay.
He was an engineer on that. Yeah.
Okay. This is what I was trying to get into. Like, you got to produce Black Sabbath.
Oh yeah.
How was that experience?
Oh, it was great. It made me just figure out I didn't want to produce records anymore.
No. What happened?
I mean, it's just difficult. I mean, it's just difficult and stressful.
Right.
And it was fun, but it wasn't that. It's good to look back on it and say it was fun. But while I was doing it, it wasn't a lot of fun. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because like I said, Cozy Powell, was the drummer. Cozy Powell is badass, right?
Yeah.
And so he came in the studio one time with a stopwatch, and he's like, "We're gonna have to do that again because I'm off right there." I'm like, "Really?" So we had to do the whole take over because he was off. He had a stopwatch, and he would time his when he was off.
Really?
Yeah.
So,
it was interesting.
Which album did you do?
Forbidden. Actually, hold on.
Okay.
It's out in a box set.
What?
It's a box set. How is this camera? It's a box set. No,
Right.
no. How does this go like that? Now go over here, I guess. Nope, go this way.
Right.
It's a box set that's out. It ended up, it's 5 records on it, right?
Oh, wow.
5 records. And it's ended up number 1 in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, and my record's on there. It's remastered and
Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
And so it's like $150 for the box set, and it ends up number 1 box set in the world for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks straight.
Go ahead, Ernie.
Yeah. That was like 2 months ago when we were out on the road. So now it's still selling.
Wow.
It has a lot of the Ronnie James Dio tracks on it. The albums he did with Sabbath, and the ones that Tony Martin did. Not the Ozzy ones.
Right. So, did you work with Ronnie?
Not even. I worked with Tony Martin.
Okay. All right. Wow.
Yeah, Tony. They've had 3 singers: Tony Martin, Ronnie James Dio, and Ozzy. But it's all Black Sabbath.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And the drummer was at that time was Cozy Powell.
Cozy, yeah. Wow, man.
Yeah, the great, Cozy played with Emerson, Lake and Powell. Cozy Powell, Deep Purple. All those people from those English bands, they're kind of interchangeable. They all play with each other's bands.
Wow, man. Man, that's amazing, man. I think it's amazing. So
it was a lot of fun. I'm doing guitar solos with Tony and then in walks Jeff Beck and Brian May. You know what I mean? I'm like, whoa, this is kind of interesting. So I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And the thing about it is, you can't start kissing ass because you're the producer. I'm supposed to be in charge of this. You know what I mean? And so I say this one thing. Tony says to me, hey, Ernie, what do you think of that? I'm like, what do I think of it? Why don't you ask Jeff Beck and Brian May what they think of it? Forget what I got to say.
Right.
But, yeah, it was interesting. You know, really, really nice guys, you know.
Right.
I got something that's really interesting. I got a Jeff Beck pick. You know what's so interesting with that? Jeff Beck don't play with the pick.
Oh.
He plays with his fingers.
Really? I didn't know that.
So, Jeff always, you look at the play, he always plays with his fingers. He doesn't play with a pick. So I have a Jeff Beck pick.
Huh. Interesting. How long was that recording process that you?
It was months, because I went there, rehearsed for like 3 weeks in a castle in Wales.
Ooh.
We rehearsed there at this haunted castle, and it was creepy. So then after that, we recorded at Power Street Studios in Liverpool, where the Beatles recorded.
Mm-hmm.
We recorded, that's a famous studio. Then we came back to the States and started recording at a place over here on Burbank Boulevard. It used to be called Devonshire Studios, but it's something else, audio visual now. But we recorded there. We recorded like all over the place. Then Bobby had to fly back to London and something. And it was a long process.
Right. Wow. Man.
And that was that. I got to produce that record because Miles Copeland wanted me to do it. I knew Miles Copeland.
Oh.
Miles Copeland is Stuart Copeland's brother.
Right.
He was the head of a record company called IRS Records, which was distributed by A&M, and he wanted me to do the record. That's how I ended up doing it. It's not Miles just said, "Get Ernie to do it." You know, like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, Miles.
Yeah.
Nice. Miles is big time.
Right. I didn't realize that.
He managed the police.
Police. Okay. All right. Yeah. Wow.
But Miles is big. Miles, Stuart's brother.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I'm a big Stuart Copeland fan.
He's badass. Yeah. So I saw an interview with him, and that was kind of funny because he's like, he had to remix all the songs recently. He said, "Well, I didn't even know the lyrics to these songs." Yeah, he started looking at the lyrics. He said, "Oh, that's what he was saying."
Right.
Then he's like, "Oh, I just realized Sting is a genius."
Oh man.
Oh. It's like last year.
Right. Wow. Oh man. Wow. Okay.
I mean, for a long time, I didn't know what the lyrics were for Dusty with the Musket, all those lyrics.
Oh yeah, and Get Shot. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what are these lyrics? Okay, I gotta look at them, figure out what they are.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, that's a typical drummer thing, So
I'm like, I'm not singing it. I really don't need to know.
Yeah. Oh man. Going back to body count. I don't want to take too much more of your time.
Okay.
What do you think is the difference between the original body count compared to now, like music wise?
Well, this band is more precise. You know what I mean?
Right.
The other band was a little more junky, more I'll say Led Zeppelin.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like loose funk. We didn't play with no clicks. It's like, okay, it was more funk, more loose funk. This band is more, less jamming. It's like we play exactly on, what we're going to do. It's not like we don't keep on going and like, it's exactly where it's going to be. So
right.
that's the difference. That's basically it. It's just maturity.
Yeah.
Like we're older and we play. Because when I was producing Black Sabbath, one thing that was interesting. It was like 8 o'clock at night, and I said, okay, let's get in there and start doing some more. He says, no, Ernie, Tony Iommi says, I'm going home. I'll see you tomorrow at 10. I'm not going to come up with no better ideas tonight at 1 in the morning than I would tomorrow at 10 a.m. So I'll see you. I'm like, what am I going to do the rest of the night? So he brought me the guitar he used on Iron Man one night. The original guitar that he used on Iron Man.
Oh.
And people think it's a Gibson, but it's not a Gibson because it looks like an SG, but It's not an SG. It was made by another company called Ego because he wanted a 24 fret guitar, and Gibson wouldn't make it for him, so he went to another company. But anyway, so they eventually made him one after he got popular. But he brought that guitar that he used on that, and I played that guitar all night long.
Oh man,
that was fun. That was fun.
Right.
The history of rock and roll,
Oh man, is he left-handed?
Yes, he's left-handed. That's why he brought me the guitar.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Wow.
But really, for guitar players, it's really strange because his gauges on his strings, they go 10, 13, 13. He has two strings that are exactly the same on there.
All right. Oh.
The high strings are exactly the same size.
Okay.
He just tunes them different. It's really interesting.
That is interesting. Man. Speaking of guitars, you have your own signature guitar.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a picture of me playing it because I didn't play it that much on the tour just because it has a rosewood neck and the ones I play have a maple neck. So yeah, they're selling good. We're going to do some photo shoots with them next month, and hopefully we're going to do another run of them. So that's good. It's good.
Yeah. Is it where is it available at?
Guitar Center, or your local music store. It's all around. So.
Oh man.
But what's so funny about that? I mean, it's cool to have your own signature. But when I thought I really made it was when I got my first guitar pick with my name on it. That was the greatest thing ever.
Okay.
Jimmy Dunlap. He came to my show and said, "Yeah, you're a rock star now. You're gonna need some of these." And we made guitar picks with my name on it. So.
Oh wow. But I wanted to say, is there anything that you would like to tell people that what's coming up in the future for Body Count?
Well, we have a show in Louder Than Life in Kentucky next month. We're playing up in Sacramento, October. What's the name of that festival? It's called Aftershock.
Aftershock.
Yep, Aftershock, Sacramento. Yeah. And we'll probably get some more shows along the way. Next year we'll start playing some more, and then we'll have our album out. So we'll probably play some more when we get an album out, get some more shows.
Right. But yeah. But Ernie, I want to thank you for your time, man.
Okay.
Thank you. And I know we were supposed to try to do this around your birthday was in June. But yeah, man. But I'm glad we got it done now.
It's a pleasure to do this.
Yeah.
If you want to do it again, we'll do it again.
Yeah.
I'll see you. I'll see you on the 5th.
Yeah, I'll see you on the 5th. All right.
Okay. Right. And thank you, everyone.
Right, take it easy.
Thank you, everyone,
all right,
for listening.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you, Ernie.
Bye.
Okay.
Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, eRecordStudio, the new way musicians rehearse, record, and share their eRecord sessions on social media. Visit ERS on eRecordStudio.com. Download this amazing app on Google and Apple Apps stores.
Visit us on www.talkmusicpodcast.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Download our podcast on Apple, Google, Amazon, and Spotify.